Hello everybody, and before we get this video started on what a weird day today was, I actually just want to give a moment of silence and reflection to remember all those people who, 17 years ago, 3,000 people lost their lives due to terrorist attacks by Al-Qaeda on the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and just the air in general. So I just want to give a few moments of silence for that. All right, so now to get on with today. Today is day 32, so kind of weird because it's like technically starting the second month that I've been here, but it's only the start of the 5th week. So today, starting off, was pretty strange. It was definitely a weird way to start the day. So I go to my lit class as usual, and there are more people there than normal. One guy walks up and he's looking in the class and he's calling somebody, saying that, like, hey, there's somebody still in the class. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a new transfer into our class, which is weird because the sign up and drop date deadline was the 5th of September. So I was like, okay, so it can't be that, which is kind of weird. So then we get into the classroom, our teacher shows up, and all of a sudden there's more people in the classroom than anticipated, and people no one recognizes. Turns out that there's a new person for room scheduling, and they had scheduled a chem class in where our composition class was. So there was phone calls, there was emails. The one person who was checking to see if this was the right classroom had called the teacher because they were the TA, saying that, hey, there's a composition class in this room. And the guy handed the phone to my teacher, and they were both like getting heated. I mean, because it all started because the chem teacher got really heated, and then all of a sudden, like, my lit teacher wasn't having it. The chem teacher shows up, and then they had this little like fuss over. It's like, well, I'm been assigned to this room for almost like 2 weeks now, and so she goes, all right, well, I'm gonna go to the lit advisor person, I don't know who it was, to get this all sorted out. Long story short, there was like a huge debacle over. There were phone calls to the department and the university itself to figure out what happened. Turns out there's a new person, whole mix up. And eventually the chem people left to go back to their old room. So then, yeah, we went to lit, did all that kind of normal thing. Then I came back. What did I do? I think I just kind of hung out for a little bit, just waiting for my next class to start, or my lab. I went to my computer science lab. This time I got the lab done within the lab time because it was much easier, which is great because last one was so hard, which is... Okay, that was weird. I landed on my headphones trying to move my chair. Then yeah, so then came back here, hung out for a little bit more. Then I went to my math class, and we're working on like the final review stuff because I have an exam on the 13th, Thursday. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm looking at all these like freaking notifications that are coming up because this app that we use called Canvas on the phone prints the same thing twice, but this one came up like 6 times. So I don't know what's up with that. Let's see. Then after math, I just kind of came back here. Oh wait, no. Okay, so in between from computer science to the end of math, in between those times when I was biking from home to back to the classes, there was a protest going on, more like a proclamation. And we had this little stump, if I haven't talked about this, and if I have, then I'm just going to reiterate it. There's this stump that's in the middle of College Avenue that if you stand on it and make a proclamation, that's like one of the things to do before you graduate. I plan on doing something with that eventually. Maybe I'll get a recording of it. I don't know. But there were, as usual, some what my mom called Bible thumpers on College Avenue. They're kind of like the people who are trying to like push the Bible onto people, that kind of thing going on. They're like, we have all these like Bible talks, and all these churches around campus or like around the perimeter of campus. There's a lot of that around. So these guys were getting like, there was a lot of yelling. Because first, when I was going to my computer science lab, and I don't want to sound like I was just there to listen. I wasn't joining, I wasn't doing anything, I was just there to listen. I passed by, and this guy's talking about Christianity and God and all that kind of stuff. And the other guy, he's talking about how Satan is Jesus' creation. And the other guy in front of him, who I believe was a student, I think I was told was wearing like a Satan sweatshirt, something like that. And he's out there chanting in front of the guy, "I love Satan. I'm not making this up at all. This actually happened." This guy is just sitting there screaming, "Well, I love Jesus' creation. I love Satan." And then I go to I'm like right next to the computer science building. And this guy's like, "Jesus is the second coming of Jesus is Satan." I'm like, okay, time to go inside because I don't want to be a part of this. I come out of my computer science lab, which is around 12:50 to 1, and they're still going. It's different people at this point, rather. But I mean, they're still ranting about stuff. They're talking about going to heaven or hell, all that kind of thing. And one guy points out the thing that's on his leg, which I couldn't see because it was blocked by a backpack. But the guy says, "Hey, bucko, that like a house arrest thing around your ankle?" And the guy who's on the stump responds, "That's actually something that's going to count on my count my steps." So kind of like a Fitbit, I guess. I couldn't see it, so I wouldn't be able to judge. But then he goes off on him about how like everything he's been saying, because they've been like yelling at him because they were trying to disprove stuff that he was saying, that everything he had been saying was counting against him in the Word of God and that kind of thing. But then I go home because I didn't want to be a part of that anymore, because I was just listening. And God, that was just, there was so much yelling and all that. I was not going to be a part of it because that was ridiculous. And so I go home, come back to go to my computer science, my calculus lecture, lab, which is an hour later, so at 2 o'clock. And they're still there. They're still sort of ranting. It's a lot calmer now. They're more just like kind of talking about things. It seemed like all the people who were like totally non-believers had left, and all the people who actually believe in Christianity had come and were just trying to talk to these people. And so yeah. Then I left. I went to my calc lab. I leave that at 3, by the way. Or 2:50, I would have been at the square around 3-ish. And they're still talking. It had been 3+ hours that these guys have been sitting there talking about the word of Christianity and the word of God, that kind of thing, which was astounding. They were in the same spot. There were 4 or 5 people, so they did it in rotation, but they were still there trying to talk about that stuff and talk about it to the people of the college campus. And like I said, I just went up there to listen, and I was like, I'm not going to be a part of this, and I biked away, came back here, did homework. I'm done with my homework. It's currently 8:06. And now I am just currently hanging out because I believe that I have done all my homework. I've like double and even possibly triple checked everything. Oh, and another thing, while I was sitting here doing my friggin' homework, my water pitcher got stuck on this little bar that's in my fridge. So this little bar right here caught on the handle of my pitcher, pulled it out, and it landed on my math notebook. Luckily, everything I have in there dried out. Nothing's damaged on them. I can still read everything. Even like the loose leaf papers are still intact. So all that is fine. I left them all to lay out and dry for a little bit. Everything seems to be okay. I can still see everything, so that's fine. But yeah, that was ridiculous. It even poured on my notebook a little bit, but that also seems to be okay. But I thought that was stupid, how the handle of my pitcher got hooked on the fridge and got ripped out. I fixed that problem, The floor is fine. The floor over there where I was drying stuff is also fine. I turned the AC on so that it would dry faster, and it worked. So, yeah, that was ridiculous. Besides that, I think that's pretty much it for today. So, tomorrow is the 12th. And, basic stuff. Nothing too interesting happening. But, yeah. So, I guess I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.